Sicksense, thank you for your time. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having us. We appreciate
This is so cool.
Yeah, I'm honored. So you guys came from Phoenix?
Yes.
Correct?
From Phoenix, yep.
Nice.
We're all from different places, everyone in the band.
seen
but
that,
That's
yeah.
our bases.
The base.
Phoenix now.
So base.
Currently.
So you wouldn't say from, you'll say, what do you say, a base?
Based out of Phoenix, yeah.
all right,
Because
cool.
the band initially started in Montreal, Canada, with different members as well. Vicky and
Yeah.
I were there from the beginning, but now
Yeah.
we're based out of
Yeah.
Phoenix. And our guitarist, Phil, he lives in Athens, Greece. And our bassist, Rich, he actually lives in Texas, like the Dallas area.
Wow.
Yeah.
All over the world.
Yep.
Yeah.
Worldwide.
We're international.
So
Canadian, Greek. Yeah.
Worldwide, Sicksense.
Yeah.
Come on. What's something I cannot wrap my head around this with your band is so you're both married.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. I'm like, how are they? And you're both the singers.
Yeah.
How are they making this work? How are you married? A married couple, singers in the same band.
Well, that's a tough question. That is tough because like any relationship is tough to begin
Yeah.
with, and then you throw in, okay, there's the band.
Exactly.
dynamic.
So we are seeing a lot of bands that have band members that are married.
Sure.
Or in long-term relationships. But I guess not very often that they're both vocalists, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. And I think vocalists get a bad rep as, being maybe egotistical or narcissistic or
Yep.
etc. But I think in our case, I guess it works because we're not that.
Okay.
We're like both pretty introverted. We do this for the right reasons. We just want to create good music
Yeah.
and like stuff that comes from the heart. It's not about being on stage and like, look at me, I'm awesome, dude, and all that. It's just about writing good music.
Yeah.
And I think we both have that goal. So when we do butt heads, it's for the right reasons. It's about, hey, I think that idea is better. No, that idea sucks. This is better. So as long as we keep in mind that like we're both working towards the same positive thing, then it's just the arguments are sporadic. It never lasts.
Yeah, it really comes down to like a respect factor as vocalists. So it's like, I guess, yeah, it would be a little difficult working with a different vocalist who I'm just like, I think I may be better than you in some regard. That may sound egotistical, but
you can't say that.
You
but
can't.
but
no.
vocalists
Because
do that. Every vocalist has a big ego, but I think with us,
Yeah.
I'm just like, okay, working with Vicky, she does a lot of stuff. Like she kicks my ass in like different things that like I can't do. So it's like I like working with people that like push me or like have these skills that I don't have. I respect that a lot in different vocalists.
Yeah.
Whereas like if I'm working, like if I'd work with a vocalist who can do similar stuff that I can do, it's like, well, why not me just do it myself? So I think working with Vicky and being able to write like that, I'm able to write different things that like I can't do myself, but she can pull it off, and she pulls it off amazingly. And I think we can work really in sync together. Whereas somebody else might come in and be like, fuck you, Rob, I don't want to take your advice or what you have to say. So it's a really
Yeah.
good dynamic between the two of us.
That's an interesting
Yeah.
dynamic. It's very like, wow.
And I mean, we learn. The more we do it, the more we learn, and the more we push each other, and it's great. And I think it's a comfortability like which any band has over the years. The more you tour, the more you get to know each other, the more comfortable you are around each other. But we skipped that already. Like we're already there, so it's good. I don't know, it's good.
Okay. Next question. So were you got married first, and then Sicksense came up? Because I was
Yeah.
I was trying to find dates because it seems you guys were already writing songs like 2017ish, correct?
Yeah.
That's when the band started, like late 2017. But yeah, we've always been working on stuff too together. Vicky would get features and stuff, or we'd help each other out with our other projects. We'd, give each other feedback and stuff. So we've always been
Yeah.
writing behind the scenes, but with Sicksense, it's more like immersive. Like we're both
Yeah,
a part
and
of
it wasn't our intention either. It just kind of happened. Like he auditioned for a band that wasn't at the time Sicksense. It was something else, and he doesn't sing, so they were like, I think we should have a second vocalist that can sing, because with our previous vocalist that was doing everything, they'd go out on tour and he'd blow out his voice and then he couldn't sing. So they were like, I think it'd be smart to just split up the duties. And at the time, I was finding myself with a lot of extra time. I was in the Agonist. We were doing stuff, but everyone else in that band had day jobs. And I didn't want to do that. I just want to do music full time. So I'm like,
wow, I didn't know that.
yeah. So I'm like, sure, I'll join another band. Why not? So it just kind of happened. And then we started working on stuff together. And I think the more we do it, the better it gets.
Yeah. More power to you guys. It's awesome. It's very, to me, being an outsider, that is very impressive.
Thanks.
Because it's like, what do you do when you're married, or even if you're boyfriend, girlfriend, and then you fight? You say, hey, we got to work on a song right now. Like, how do you handle that?
A lot of the arguments probably happen over like band stuff, but it's like not necessarily between us. It's like outside factors, like industry factors, mostly with business stuff.
Yeah.
We butt heads on a lot of stuff. We're in agreement with a lot of stuff, but it's just problems arise, and then it's like, well, you take care of it. No, you take care of it. And I'm like, I gotta take care of it. And then like it's just that frustration. Like, yeah, like I've been there. Yeah, I've really been there before, where it's like I'm like so fed up. Like I'm like, I don't want to deal with this. Like I want to work on the music stuff, but I don't want to deal with this business stuff. But somebody has to take care of it.
But to add to that, I think it is great that we have that open honesty, because one thing that's frustrating about me is being in a band, and there's always at least one person in the band that isn't open about their feelings. I mean, I guess, I don't know. That's my experience. Maybe other bands are sitting there yelling at each other, right? But
two.
Or two or more. It's just like, yeah, man, everything's fine. And then they're just harboring all these feelings and all this resentment that just grows over the years.
Sure.
And I don't like that. I'd rather just hear the painful truth and yell at each other and then work on it and then grow a stronger relationship. So
yeah, or if you got things going on in life too, it's like, hey, everyone's human and everybody has their personal goals and their professional goals that they want to do, and it's all good. But I think like if you're in a band dynamic, everyone needs to kind of be on the same page, because if like people are pulling each other in different directions, it's not going to work out. So you just have to respect every individual in the band and be like, okay, if this is what you want in life, like I got to let you go and you got to pursue that. But this is the direction we're heading in, because this is what'll help the band grow.
How did the other band members react to that? You guys being a couple.
So far, so good. I will say that if we've had like a band talk and we start going at each other, they just kind of step back a little bit.
It's always
just listen. Don't take sides. Like I'm not gonna chime in. But we've never. And that's the thing that I think gets misinterpreted. That it's like I could have that same conversation with someone else, and it wouldn't be perceived as severe. But it's because it's a married couple, your brain is automatically like, oh, they're arguing. Yeah. And we're not necessarily arguing. Maybe it's just that there's no filter, right? We're just talking. So they just kind of step back and don't say much. And then when we stop talking, then they add to it. But I can't think of anything that's been so crazy that, I don't know. We're pretty chill.
Yeah.
I guess. I don't know.
We get through things. It's fine.
Yeah.
Got to push along.
Yeah.
Well, you got years under your belt, so it's cool. That's something to be very proud of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I guess in a way, I'm sorry, I'm getting pictures in my brain in like real time. Like if you can't, correct me if I'm wrong, you can't do like the cliche "I quit" band thing because it's your wife, right?
That's part of it. That makes it tougher to do.
Yeah.
There's days definitely where you feel that, but it's also like you just gotta keep pushing through it, because there's like the lifers, and then there's the people who they're fed up, and like I understand it takes a big mental toll on you, or it can, like all these things.
Yeah.
I
think back to basics is important when you're feeling this as an artist, because I've definitely felt it a few times. Back to basics, like why am I doing this? And just kind of remember.
Why?
Yeah, I'm getting emotional saying this now, but
That's cool.
Just kind of remembering as a teenager, like, why did I decide to do this? Yeah. I don't know why I'm tearing up.
That's cool.
Chris, it's the vibe. It's this thing here.
No, it's cool.
No.
Yeah, it's cool that you guys even know that, because a lot of us don't know our whys. And sometimes we gotta, it's like, what is and they actually say, as far as like just your psychology, like you gotta know your why with any goal.
Yes.
Because when shit goes wrong, and it will go wrong, like there's a 100% chance it is. You gotta go back to that why.
Yeah. And I think the
Where am I?
industry has a way of like making you think you want things that you don't want.
Sure.
So like as a vocalist, for example, we're seeing this like new trend of vocal gymnastics happening in metal,
Yes.
especially with deathcore. It's
Yeah.
just,
I'm sorry.
oh, it's insane. No, it's fine and it's cool. And as a vocalist, when I first started, part of that curiosity was like, I want to see what I can do with my voice. But it was like, it was for me. It was for like pushing myself to see how far I can go.
Yeah.
Not because I'm in direct competition with everyone else out there and I want to be like thought of as the best.
Sure.
But the way the industry is with especially now that social media and online and people arguing, like you can't go on any video and see one person say so-and-so's the best vocalist in metal. You'll get another 100 comments underneath about, no, you're wrong. Listen to this person. Listen to that person. And
impossible.
and then you have like the top 10 and the voting system and all that. And that really messes with your head. And you're like,
yeah.
I got to be the best. But it's like, when I started, I didn't care about being the best. I just wanted to sing and I just wanted to write music. Who cares if I'm the best, you know? So I think that's one example, at least from my experience, where it's like, remember why you're doing it. Don't let the industry make you chase something that you didn't even care to chase to begin with. You know?
It's true. Yeah, you're right. We're just like reading things and seeing things, and then we forget who we are and why
Yeah.
and why we even started doing this.
Yeah.
It's like, why do I quit my job again? Oh yeah. Just wanna freaking jam tunes.
Yeah.
I just want to get married and jam tunes. You know,
Yeah.
and get in fights in front of my band.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a cool dynamic. It's different.
It's cool. You guys should be very very proud. It's awesome. It's awesome.
Thank you.
Maybe I'm 39. I still do it. Still deal with that.
Yeah.
Dude, it's just your brain is forgets. It just forgets. It pisses me off. It's why it's how we're wired.
Yeah.
You know.
Absolutely.
Okay, so you guys met in which this was it's a shame it's not around anymore.
Yeah.
There's a festival called Heavy Montreal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's where you guys met.
Yes.
Cool.
Correct.
That was your 2015, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the story behind that was the Agonist. Her
Yeah, we
previous
were
band
playing.
was playing there, and I had joined Stuck Mojo at that time, and my bandmates
Crazy time for you.
Rich and Frank were playing with Fozzy. So Fozzy was playing Heavy Montreal that year.
Oh.
So they invited me to hang out with my ex-bandmates in Hasta La Muerte, and then one of my bandmates knew Vicky, so we met backstage. So he was like my buddy Kevin, who's now in Disembodied Tyrant. He's the drummer of that band now.
Small circles.
Kevin
Yeah.
Alexander, so it's a small world. Yeah,
Wow.
he was like, "Hey, Vicky, get over here." He's an Italian guy from Montreal, and yeah, we've
Yeah,
been
just started hanging
inseparable
out.
ever since.
Yeah.
It's been
There
crazy.
were a lot of beers involved, for sure.
What did you think when you saw her? Like, oh man, she's fucking hot. I gotta talk to her.
Honestly,
What am I gonna say?
oh, I might embarrass her,
embarrass
but
me.
like the funny thing was like it was amazing catering back there.
Yeah.
And Vicky just like went in with a bunch of Tupperware, and she just like showed up with like all this Tupperware, and I just like I laughed at this girl. I'm like, what's with that? I'm like, wow, what a woman! Like she just decides to like, yeah, I'm gonna take all this food and desserts home with me, and I'm like, yeah, she knows what's up. Like, and that just
Yeah.
made me so laugh that like she was just like so like honest about that. Like, yeah, whatever, this is what I do, and
It's
like,
it's
it
the
made me
being a woman in a band. You know what everyone wants before they know what they want. So
Oh, yeah.
people were making fun of me about my Tupperware and grabbing the cookies and cheesecake and all that. By the end of the night, it was all gone because everyone was like, "Oh, are those the cookies from the catering? Give me one." You know,
You
and
knew,
it was all
you knew
gone.
what they all wanted. That's cool.
I knew, and I knew that the catering was going to be
cool.
done by the time I was off stage, and I was like, I want to have a good meal after I finish my set. So, yeah, I'm just tour smart, I guess.
yeah, and honestly, like my thinking wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna pursue her romantically. Honestly, my first impression, like I thought that was funny. Like I like that as like a person, just like as a respect thing. But
That's cool.
I just really respected her. I was like, oh yeah, she's a great vocalist. She's a great lyricist too. I'm like, yeah, just respect thing. I'm like, and maybe we can work together in the future or something. You never know. It's a small
Really?
circle. Like I just thought of it like that, like a platonic thing. And then we just, we really hit it off, and we just started hanging out that week, and yeah, here we are. They just
Here we are.
it worked, and yeah, that's it.
It worked.
Yes. Yes.
It's like when you know, it's like, hey, like, and I was really young at that time. I think I met Vicky when I was like 21
Yes.
back in 2015, and it's
Wow.
just like, I didn't really sleep around in my life at all. It was just like, yeah, okay, this is it. It's like, hey, when you strike gold, you strike gold. It's like, I don't need that.
Oh,
So I
sweet.
just, for me,
That's
I just
cool,
cut
man.
that off in my life immediately, and I was like, yeah, I'm set.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what does the other side think? Oh wait, this dude's fucking hot. How do I talk to him?
Like I said, there were beers
Here's a plate of
involved.
food.
Yeah. We weren't even playing that day. Heavy Montreal was very generous that year with the backstage pass situation.
Nice.
It was a 3-day.
Just 3 days?
3 days that year.
Oh wow.
Yeah. We were playing on the Saturday, and this was the Sunday. So, I'm typically very responsible on show days. I don't eat, at least before the show. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't.
Oh wow.
I don't go crazy because I wanna feel like when I'm on stage, if something goes wrong, I want to have myself to blame for that. And not like a substance or some, like, you know what I mean? Like I used to when I first started, like I'll have a few beers, it'll be good, but then I realized I can't do beer because when I'm doing vocals, I start feeling like what's it called? Like going up, and like I start burping and I'm like, this is just uncomfortable. So I want to feel like I'm in total control. And then after the show, depending on how I'm feeling and what I'm doing the next day, like I'll have a couple drinks or something and go to bed. But that was a festival, so the Saturday happened, it ended, it was great, partied, but then we had all of Sunday to just go back, and we still had access to the artist world area that had free beers and food and all that. So I was like, all right, I worked really hard. We had a great show on Saturday. We had people moshing around the trees. That was great, circle pits around trees. So it was just a really good feeling, and Sunday I was like, all right, today I'm gonna party, I guess, and we were just filling up beers and drinking beers, and then when we were hanging out all at the table, I don't know, I just had this like instinctual thing that I felt like Robby was really different from everyone else there. Like I don't know how to explain it. Like everyone else was like super extroverted and like very like stereotypical like macho man sort of vibes, like. And I don't do well with like the puppy dog energy that a lot of people have.
Sure.
It just kind of pushes me into a corner and like,
Yeah.
And he was like very quiet, and I could tell by his body language to what I was saying and then what other people were saying. I don't know. I just had a good feeling about him. So, that and I guess a few beers helped us starting to talk.
Yeah, we were hanging out during Lamb of God and Slipknot. was playing
That
night,
was cool.
so.
Yeah.
Well, we'll thank them for a lifelong connection.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's great.
It was awesome.
So it was so you instinctually knew something was different about him.
Yeah, just aura, vibes, I guess. I don't know. I've always been like that. I can't tell you that I've always been right. I have thought people were a certain way and then they turned out to be a different way, But I'm usually right on like the energy and the vibes I pick up on people. And I could just tell that like the thing he mentioned about like sleeping around, like he didn't strike me as a guy that would just like hit on chicks and like, want to get laid and all that, which in our industry, I don't know how much of that is happening today because, it could have terrible consequences. But 10, 20, 30 years ago, people did it a lot. They didn't care, So it was kind of refreshing to get that vibe from someone. I don't know.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Yep.
But that's maybe maybe that gives guys hope. Like, just I mean, it sounds dumb, but it just be yourself and maybe let yourself do the talking. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
course.
that does.
Of course.
That does. I think it's a good opportunity to bring like my perspective on it because like I think we live in a culture where like sex is like a big thing for a lot of dudes, especially.
Yeah.
And for me, I always felt like a weirdo. I was like, I'm like, I even question myself. I'm like, shit, am I gay or something? Like, what's wrong with me? But like,
Yeah.
But I'm just
Nothing
like,
wrong with
it
you.
just came down to it. Like, really, I'm just like, I don't like the idea of sleeping around, and like I don't even think it's like cool to me. It's like if
Yeah,
other
yeah.
people do it, like that's for you. But like speaking
Yeah.
for myself, I'm like
That's cool.
I'm more focused on like my business and like creating and like the art stuff, or like I'm really into like business stuff. Like that's why like I love being like super involved with everything. Like even like making from like even like driving the band here to California, making sure everyone's safe. I'm like really like protective of that and like
Yeah.
keeping people in my circle safe and just the business as a whole in a good place. And like even at the shows, like I set up all the merch and stuff and like I
Nice.
make sure everything's good and just, are you good? You good? Everyone's taken care of. And that's the priority for me. Just like, hey, what can I do for society? And it just happens to be this role as an entertainer or whatever else I do for work. And just like I focus on that instead of like breaking up families or something. Like if there's an affair happening, like I'm not interested in that. That doesn't give me validation or joy for myself. But that's me. So that might be a refreshing take for anyone else who feels that way, because I never heard people in the public sphere talking about that much as dudes.
Because
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
not cool, you know. It's like I could almost associate it to like people that were into like comic books and like superhero stuff and like you know the 80s and 90s, and they were like made fun of, and like look now, it's like it's all the craze, like all the Marvel movies and DC and all that, and now it's cool to like superhero stuff.
Yeah.
So I just think like that's the way the world works in trends, and they come and go, and then they come back again. So I think the thing you're talking about, it's like it's not cool for a dude to come out and say like, yeah, I don't care about that. I want to be responsible, and
Yeah.
so there are probably people that feel that way and just not openly talk about it. I don't know.
No, it's cool. I know a lot of people don't like this, but I think people attract not what they want, but who they are. You know, You know, what was your upbringing like? Just now I'm just curious. What was your upbringing like for you to be that way?
Oh, well, I don't want to talk. I don't know. I phrase this in a good. Sorry, I don't want to insult my parents at all.
Sure.
Because like it's a respect thing. I have a great relationship with both of them now. I always had a pretty good relationship with my mom for the most part of my life. But it was not to bring up their dirty laundry, but it was a very like really rough childhood I had. Like they were just like, my parents didn't have a good life together. They were just always like fighting every day. It was a constant battle. So that made me really reserved as a kid. Like I would kind of act out at home, and then like when I'd go out in public, I would just shut down.
Yeah.
It made like relationships like and getting friendships really difficult for me, because they were just screaming. They were really like drinking a lot together, or and just like throwing stuff at each other. It wasn't really like they would hit each other. There wasn't any of that, but it was like violent screaming, like yelling, like every day. Like it was like
They brought out
pretty
the worst
rough.
in
They
each
brought
other,
out the
basically.
worst in each other, and then they finally divorced. Like when I just ended primary school in Canada, and then they got divorced, and that really put like another downer in my life, because like at that point I started trying to like make jokes and being a class clown like later when I was in elementary school, but then when they got divorced, it like really shut me down, and I was just like, I had this like huge void. Like during my teenage years, I was like miserable. I didn't want to talk to anybody. I didn't care. Like I was just like focusing on like getting good grades, and I was amazing at like sports and stuff, but like I never wanted to join the sports teams, but I could like outplay anybody who was on the actual high school teams. And I'm just like, the coaches or like my teachers would be like, why don't you play on the volleyball team, play on the basketball team or soccer team? And I'm like, I just didn't care for anything. And like finally it was when I got into this is a great segue, metal like really saved my life. And it's damn, I'm getting emotional because it's the honest truth. It's honestly your band did that. Suicide Silence for me, it was like I started playing Guitar Hero and I heard Slipknot before I forget.
Nice.
And that was when YouTube was coming out, and it just opened a rabbit hole for me. It was
That's
like,
cool.
checked out Slipknot, then it was like Suicide Silence, Whitechapel, Black Dahlia Murder, and
Oh, wow,
that
you got in
just
a
like
hole.
sent me down. Like I was like, this is it for me. And like I just like found this huge catharsis like when I was in high school, just like screaming along to like your songs, all those songs from White. You're crying too.
No, don't look at me. I know
You're gonna
this
make
stuff.
me cry, yeah.
Yeah.
I know
Just
this
like
stuff.
screaming
Yeah.
along to Whitechapel, Suicide Silence, Black Dahlia Murder, and that's what did it. Like I just love those, the lows and the highs, and like I focused on that, and I'm like, this is my thing. Like this is
Yeah.
probably what I was put on this earth to do. And then I got into rapping much later, but it was really like the metal deathcore vocal style that like I was like, I have something now in life that's worth living for.
And is that when you started practicing vocals in your room 4 hours a day?
Yep.
Oh,
I
nice.
was just in. Fortunately, my mom's parents bought my parents a home, so I had a basement to just like practice, and like
Nice.
I drive my mom crazy, and she was
Yeah.
just like, "What are you like?" She didn't get it. Like it's like, "What's going on?" Like,
Yeah.
Who would
but
get it?
but
Yeah.
her and you know my stepfather, they were like super cool about it. They were like, I had a great stepfather too. Like they have a really solid relationship.
That's
Him
cool.
and my mother. So
That's cool, man.
that was like a healing thing for my mom. So I'm happy
Oh, wow.
she found that. I gave him a hard time too. So I'm sorry for that, Tat. So but when they first started dating, but then you know we have a great relationship too now. And we did early on, like in my teenage years. But yeah, that was it. I would
But-
just practice every day,
yeah.
like I would scream for hours. Like I just
No microphone, just
no
into
microphone,
The room.
just yeah.
I've seen the videos. They're great. He's got short hair. It's all curly. He's wearing his glasses. He's like 15 years old, just screaming, just in the room.
Wow.
Great.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Usually with the with someone with your upbringing will actually be against any kind of marriage. Usually with that kind of upbringing. So it's fascinating.
I just, you know, I say like, we got role models in life, and I like to say there's anti-role models too. So it's like got
yeah.
to see a lot of the negative stuff and what went wrong there in those relationships, and just, you know, when you have a perspective on your parents when you're a child, and then you realize, hey, when you grow older, like you're looking back and you're like, oh, you know what? Maybe that parent did things in the wrong way, or like, oh, they were trying to like, you know, like bribe you with like taking you out on outings or giving you gifts and stuff. And
Yeah.
not that that's a bad thing, but it's like realizing like as you're older, like, oh, well, maybe you should have stepped up in these other ways, but hindsight's 2020. So
yeah.
I just think like I want to just be a better person and not be that, and like just do what I can and like what I'm in control of. So like I agree. Like
Cool, man.
I think a lot of people, you know, you could either let life beat you down, or you can grow from it and get stronger from it and just move on and like realize, hey, this is the steps to take to just make my life better.
Yeah. I see why you like him a lot.
Yeah, he's a pretty great guy.
Yeah, that's the thing about anyone that's introverted or introvert. If you get them talking, they have
Yes.
the most to say.
Yes, it's
Cool.
very true.
But
And it's
that wall is hard to break, though. That wall is pretty hard to break.
Yeah, but that's a misconception that introverted people don't like conversations, like they don't like to talk, and it's
It's not true.
not true. It's like we love to talk, just about things that matter. Like we don't like small talk and nonsense and
yeah.
conversations that seem
It's cool.
boring. But if you just find the right topic, then it's like we won't
Boom.
shut up. You
Yeah.
know? Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
you know, it's talk about
Yeah.
Slipknot and Evanescence. You got to talk for a few hours. you know?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
No, it's so true.
Yeah.
You know, but we also if you find a certain subject, you're just gonna
Yeah.
let's go.
Yeah. And I think it's especially important, like now more than ever, to have these conversations. Because like, not to make this conversation like the podcast about this, but just with social media and everyone just being glued to a phone and a screen and all that, which there are extremely positive aspects, like what's happening here right now. People are going to be able to listen to it and watch it, which is great. But there's the negative aspect of it, just people constantly scrolling
Sure.
and attention spans decreasing. And I feel like I was in love with the concept of the internet when it first like became a thing, and just having access to like music, because I was in a small town at the time, when I found metal, especially, like, how am I going to listen to music? I had no way of doing it. So I used the internet. And I loved that, and I loved what Facebook first was, or MySpace before that. It was great. But I don't love what it's become. And I think now more than ever, it's important to just, like, put your phone down and meet people and have genuine, interesting conversations, because humans are meant to be social beings. Even if you are introverted, we're meant to socialize. You know?
True.
Yeah.
And that is the conflicting feeling in our bodies. Like we're introverts, but we need to go out there and talk to people. So it's like it's this conflicting, you know. And I really feel for people that haven't gotten to exercise that muscle. It took me years to get out of it because you basically build your own shell, and you're in your own shell because you're an introvert.
Yeah.
Which is who you are, but also you need human connection at the same time. It's just like conflicting. Oh, it sucks.
Yeah.
It sucks.
I will say for me, what's helped is being a vocalist. If I weren't a vocalist, if I were a guitar player, or drummer, or whatever, I'd probably just sit in a corner and not talk to anyone. But it just kind of forces you. You're like, fuck, I'm staged now. Everyone's looking at me on stage. What do I do? And one thing I picked up on was when I would go to shows myself and look at bands performing, I feel like, again, instinct, I would gravitate more towards the bands that felt genuine, or the front people that felt like, I don't know what they're going to say, or like they're not working with a script. They were just like in the moment, vibing, picking up on the crowd and talking to the crowd. And it just felt like it came from a genuine place versus, let's say, the bands that came out and they were super choreographed and like say the same thing every night and this and that, which I understand it's a show. And maybe some people need that structure to put on a great show. But I connected more with those that were just improvising it. Like, I don't know what I'm going to do. And I think that inspired me to come out of my shell and just be like, I can't do the rehearsed choreographed thing because it just feels fake and phony for myself, who I am as a person. But I can just let loose and do my own thing. And it's interesting how some nights it's maybe not going to go as well, but then some other nights it'll be great, you know, because the crowd's inspiring and I get inspired by that and I can let loose. So, yeah, it's definitely helped.
Yeah, it's cool. Sometimes, a band will help you or it won't. It'll make you could go both ways.
Yeah,
it's cool.
Absolutely.
Well, I got to be responsible. You guys have a new record coming out.
Yes,
and
that is true.
February 14th, correct?
Yes.
First record.
Yeah, first official full album. Yeah.
The first album. We even have pictures of it here.
Yes.
All the color of the vinyl, sick.
Yeah.
It's awesome. That's our guitarist Phil. He did the graphic design for it.
Nice. If you're just listening, it's like a purple splatter.
Yeah.
What you got me with the purple. It's nice.
Yes,
that's
this
sick.
is great.
Yeah,
it's funny because purple's my color too.
Is
like
it?
my room, my studio / stream room, it's all purple. It's like that cover.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so and before this record, you have 2
EPs. Yeah.
Nice. Cross Me Twice. Congrats. Okay, I was going to ask you who did the artwork for your
EPs? Like that?
Yeah, who did this artwork?
That was Alexandra Morozova. That was our ex-guitarist Brand's ex-wife.
Yeah, she's a painter. So
she's an incredible fine artist. Yeah, so we asked her to do the artwork painting.
That's actually like, I haven't seen that one in person, but I saw the previous one in person. It's actually like a super large painting.
It's a crazy full-on piece. It's the size of like a wall.
Yeah, that's been digitized afterwards.
Yeah. Was that planned where one EP is called Kings Today, the next one's called Fools Tomorrow? Is that planned, or is
it was supposed to be a full album? Like so, all the songs on those we recorded it as an album, but then the pandemic happened, so we're just like, let's extend this. Like, how can we just push this?
That's smart.
So we just split it up. So
the punches.
The initial artwork was just the Kings Today one, and then I was like, I'm sorry, Alex, can you give us another one? Do another one with a different color scheme. So I actually, with all the Sicksense artwork, I actually doodle it. I'm a terrible drawer, but I got ideas. So I actually doodled both art pieces, and she brought it to life. And then the same thing with our future artwork.
Same thing with Cross Me Twice.
Yeah, with Cross Me Twice, I did the same thing. I do concept drawings, and then I'm like, here, you know what you're actually doing with this, so make it a real thing.
It was
Nice.
great because we just had no ideas for the album cover, and he stayed up until like 7 in the
I
morning.
worked on them for like 8 hours, just like sketching, listening
Yeah,
to
he
the
was
music, and just
listening
like
to the
trying to
music.
get inspired by each song.
Great.
Like, what can I
Yeah.
come up with? And
Yeah, like based on the lyrics, I was looking at the lyrics and just like doing little doodles. And I think it's 20 drawings that you have, and that one became the cover. But then some of them have become
merch designs,
either
or
merch designs or like art inside the
the
booklet.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, and I really like the art for this because it's like it kind of encapsulates like the themes of our album Cross Me Twice, and kind of like it's like the inspiration comes from my upbringing too, where it's like, hey, I went through this, where it's like, yeah, I've seen like beer bottles get thrown at the wall, so it's like just that image of the vase getting like smashed by something. It's like something beautiful and it's getting destroyed by something so ugly. That's the
Yeah.
concept
But
behind
then
it.
what I enjoy about that is how we had. I don't think this was in your original drawing, was it? The knife on the handle
I think
of the bat.
maybe.
I don't think it was.
I think it was. Yeah, it was.
It
Because
was?
yeah, it was. The idea was like I wanted something like you're kind of hurting yourself while
And
you're
that's
holding
the
it.
idea that if when you harm something or someone else, it's like you are harming yourself too at the same time. So we wanted to
Oh, shit.
depict that.
That's sick.
Yeah.
I want to get high and just think about that for a while. That's sick.
Yeah.
That's cool. Congrats. First
Thank you.
album.
Yeah.
Yes,
Thank
exciting.
you.
Yeah, when I got hit up by Alex about your band, I heard Masquerade.
Parade.
Yeah, Masquerade Parade. Oh yeah, there we go. The video's right there.
Yeah.
That's quick. Like the intro is like. Email back yes.
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
It kind of shows that sometimes, I'm just as guilty. It's funny. Sometimes I feel like I am a hypocrite sometimes, where it's like, why don't people listen to my record? Why don't listen to the full song? But I'll listen to a band for 10, 20 seconds and then no. It's like, man, why do I? Fuck.
Gotcha.
But I did
Gotcha.
do that with your band, and then I heard the intros. This is sick. You ever seen the? It's called. Is it Batman or Robin? There's a song from Malenko.
Oh,
And it was like a kind of like a that kind of la 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 la.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
I was like it kind of took me back there.
Oh, okay.
It was
cool.
like I'm
Cool.
like, man, I haven't heard a band do this ever. Sick.
thank
Finally,
you.
someone did it.
Well, thank you. So for many years, I would use my voice as a way to create like textures and sounds in the music in
Yeah.
the background. And I think part of that was because my first love in music was a piano, actually. Like my first memory of wanting to be a musician was just driving by the music store and just begging my dad to go inside. And he's like, we're not buying anything, because that's who my dad was. He would always tell me like a million no's before finally saying yes,
Nice.
which I'm super grateful for. And yeah, I just walked in. And as soon as I saw like the keyboard section, the pianos and all that, I don't know why, like something pulled me there. And we walked out with like a Yamaha, like the cheapest,
Dope.
5-octave keyboard you could find. And I just never had like any like lessons or any like just self-taught. And I would love, I love the idea of like creating like soundtrack. Like I love soundtracks and I love gaming music and all that, and just like how many different things you can do with keyboards. And so I would do that by myself at home, but I never had the chance to do that on a song, like an official release, until recently. But all that being said, because I didn't have a chance to do that with keyboards, I would do it with my voice as much as I could. So it's like we have the main vocals, but then it's like I'm going to make some choirs or some eerie pads or whatever
Yeah.
using my voice. So that's what, to segue into that, that's what I did with Masquerade Parade. Like that intro, it's like, I don't know, 20-something tracks of me just doing creepy sort of sounds and layering it together. And I think it sounds like me when you know my voice, but I could see people being like, oh, I didn't realize that was you, Yeah. So I'm happy
Yeah.
you like that intro. That's
No, cool. Hey, yeah, Jake, can you create the intro for like 10 seconds? Yeah, I was like, okay, I'm in. I'm in.
Yeah, with the beat too and
I'm
everything.
I'm in the band. It's fine.
Yeah.
That's sick. That's
Thank
cool.
you.
Was this the I don't know. Was this the first single or no?
Third single.
Third. Okay.
Yeah.
Because you list three, right?
So far.
So
okay.
far.
Yeah, because in Spotify it won't put the order. I was like, which one is first? Was this one
Yeah.
first? Crap.
By the time this is out, there will be another one out. So we'll have 4 at that point.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
What's the label?
Earache.
Earache. Nice.
Yeah.
Went full on freaking death metal to label. Okay, that's cool.
it's yeah.
Nice.
It's cool.
Okay, so you guys were living in Montreal for a minute.
Actually, we were in Chicago. Chicago.
Backwards,
Well, we were
sorry.
in Montreal like a year,
Backwards.
we
and
were
then
in-
we moved to
yeah.
Chicago.
Our first year together was in
Yeah.
Montreal, and then we moved to Chicago in 2016, end of 2016.
Yeah.
What made you move out of there to Phoenix?
Everything.
Everything.
Oh yeah, a lot.
Well,
It's just-
Chicago. So Chicago was just the obvious choice because I grew up there
Yeah.
and my dad was there and I had family and all that. So it's like, okay, if we go to States, let's go somewhere where we know people and we have some support, you know. But it increasingly became more and more difficult to live there with, you know, the crime and
Yeah.
and financially too. Everything just got so much more expensive, taxes and all that, and the cost of living in general. So we were just for a few years just saving up money and trying to get out of there, and we weren't exactly sure where we wanted to go. We were like, are we gonna do Phoenix? Are we gonna do Arizona? Are we gonna do Florida? Tennessee
Tennessee.
was there as an option. And then on the last tour that I did with the Agonist, Robby was actually with us on that tour, helping out with merch and driving and all that. And we had a day off in Phoenix, and we were like, yeah, this is the place. It was, I don't know, it was like 104, but it felt great.
Oh wow. Cool.
It felt great.
Cool.
Like it didn't feel like Florida, humid, sticky, you know, like I can't do humidity.
Yeah.
But specifically too, I remember the show that I played that night. It was one of the few places I've been where it was like a death metal tour for the most part, death/black metal tour. But the crowd, they were wearing shirts from like anything. As like power metal, the grunge, old school rock and roll, like every t-shirt you can imagine. And I was like, I like this, you know?
This is sick.
Yeah, because like one issue that like a lot of metalheads have is just being super like narrow-minded and focused on the genre that they love.
Yeah.
So they're like, I'm going to go to a death metal show, I have to wear a death metal shirt,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
I can't have anyone think that I listen to something else, you know? And I just feel like Phoenix, the vibe there is just like, we don't care. We'll go to all the shows. They're just excited to go out and have fun. And maybe it's the sun and the vitamin D that you get in your body. It just like makes you a more positive person. I don't know.
Oh wow, it's
But-
true. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. So we just fell in love with it, and now we're there.
So you guys are already so did you have a like discussion for like a few years? It sounds like, hey, we should probably move out. Let's start
Yeah.
saving up.
Yeah. Initially, we
wow.
were just gonna like move next door to Indiana.
Yeah, we were considering Munster, Indiana. It's really nice. They have a nice brewery there called Three Floyds that we love. I love
all-
the beers from there. And
That's all you need.
Yeah.
yeah, it was a really cool spot. Yeah, nice. The Midwest is really
We
nice.
even looked
but
for homes there too.
but we just kept getting outbid. Like
Yeah,
we'd
thankfully.
like put in an offer, and then somebody else would come in, like a developer would come in and put like 30,000 more, and it's like, okay, like this is already a fixer upper, and somebody else is putting
It
in
was fate.
30,000 more.
We
I'm
weren't
like-
meant to live in Indiana.
But yeah, it was just like, okay,
Got lucky in a weird way.
yeah. So that to add to that, that's why like if bad things happen to you or things aren't going your way, it's because perhaps better opportunities will come up, and that's the case sometimes. So
Yeah, people we're not good at having foresight.
No.
You know, but you just want to see like, oh, it's not going my way. What's
Yeah.
the problem? But yeah, open up a door at some point.
yeah, it's
Crazy.
the same thing with our relationship. I'm thinking like, man, if I just settled down with some other woman before Vicky, it's like I wouldn't be here right now. this my life would have taken a whole different trajectory. So it's like sometimes your biggest losses end up, happening for a reason. Yeah,
know,
it's
so-
crazy.
It's so bizarre, man. It's cool. Yeah, I heard, Vicky. I heard you talk about when you put out that EP with the Agonist, you weren't aware that was going to be your last thing
No.
recording.
No, I didn't.
What would anything have changed if you?
If I had known?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think I would have been more sad as I was creating it, like as
Yeah.
I was writing the lyrics and the vocals and all that. It's really interesting because it turned out to be a themed EP. Like that wasn't my intention, but then I was like 3 songs in, and I'm like, I'm noticing a pattern here with the lyrics, so let me just continue it. And it is actually, it's about a journey through death. That EP, and then the final song, you come back to the world, and the world is like not what you remembered it to be. So I for me, it was like a segue EP to another bigger album, hopefully in that direction. And it just didn't end up being that. But at the same time, it's kind of poetic, I guess, how it's
Sure.
about death, and then the band doesn't
And then,
exist anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy how that works.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow. Yeah, I was wondering. I was wondering because we always have hindsight. I was like, man,
Yeah.
I wonder if she would have changed anything.
Yeah.
I'm always like a regular son. I'm like, I wish I would have did this differently. Kind of idiots.
Yeah.
Could have made that better. Could have.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. So I struggled with that in general in the beginning as a songwriter and as a vocalist. Like sometimes I'll go back and listen to things I did, and I'm like, oh man, that could have been done better or different or whatever. But one thing I guess one philosophy or mentality my mentality shifted in recent years, that to tell myself that was the best possible thing I could have done at that moment in time. It's not like I had the knowledge of 5 years after and that I could have done it. I couldn't physically do it
Yeah.
at that time. So I did my best and moved on, you know.
Yeah.
I think
Sick.
that helps.
Yeah. And Rob, you mentioned when you joined your band, Stuck Mojo. You mentioned that you learned a lot from Rich and Andy Sneap as far as like a songwriter.
Yeah, definitely.
What was your takeaway?
That was a really cool process. It was just like I just learned a bunch of like technical things, like how to record vocal takes, like layering stuff, just seeing how they songwrite. And one cool takeaway I got from Rich for songwriting was like, he's like, you need to layer the music in a way where there's like kind of like different tempo changes with different instruments. Like I'm not really technical, so
Big tempo changes.
but it was just like basically like if something's going like dun 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 dun, have something else like a shaker going like just like make it like a bunch of layers.
Talking
and,
about
like,
arrangement.
yeah, arrangements. Yeah. So like he does that with like his guitars and like the instrumentals, and I was like, wow, what a cool process. And it was just like, I mean, I think perhaps like I went into it like I'm grateful for my guitarist in my band that I was in, Asta, Dave Evangelista. I always like love to give him props because he taught me a lot about, you know, recording vocals and like being on time. He's an incredible guitarist. It's a shame he doesn't like do music anymore really. But so I went into it like with a lot of knowledge, and then just like recording with Andy and Rich, it was like I didn't really get too much feedback. It was like I was good, I guess. Like I just had a week to do it, and it was like they're like, yeah, you did great. You were super pro. And I just wish I had a bit more time, but like Andy was there in Georgia with us, and we just had a week, and it was like the end of the record, and then Rich went to finish it off elsewhere.
Sick.
Yeah, it was a good process. Yeah.
I will say Robby's a bit of a robot. In that you tell him do 3 takes and they'll be like identical. And
Really?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know how.
I'm really good with that. That was like a
Yeah.
compliment I got from Andy too, where it was like he's like, all right, do the take, and then do another one, and it's like he's like, great,
Yeah.
it sounds
Yeah, because a
pretty
lot
much the
of
same. So
So
Wow.
to add to context to that, if someone's listening, they don't like, why would you need 3 identical takes? For example, it's like a lot of producers, mixing engineers like to work is that it's not just a single main vocal. They like to use dub vocals underneath to like make it sound fatter. Not saying that everyone does that, but that is the concept. So as close as possible as it is to your main vocal, it's not going to be as noticeable. So that's why that was a really positive thing at that time for him. Is just like, it's great, you know, it just fits like a glove, timing wise, expression wise, you know.
yeah, and then to add to that, another cool trick I saw Andy doing was like while I was recording like parts of vocal sections, he would edit it immediately. Like he'd be like, okay, take a little break, and he would just start choosing the
He would
takes
comp
like
it
what he liked.
immediately,
He'd start comping things
Yeah.
immediately, and I was
Yeah.
like, oh, that's smart, because it's like it's fresh in your head. He's like, he knows exactly what he wants, how he wants it to sound, and he was just mixing it right then and there. And I was like, it's great. It was awesome.
Sick. So you probably take it. So you probably take that and you apply it now.
Absolutely, yeah. So there's just little things like that.
Yeah.
I mean, we could probably talk about it for hours, but
Yeah,
at the end of the day, too, I really think it's just like basics too. Like there's just like things where it's just like, this is just the rules, or this is how you should go about it, and just continue to apply it like that. And I love working with Vicky when we're doing like our vocal production stuff. Like she edits all our vocals and stuff,
cool.
and like we'll choose takes together. So like if she gets my feedback, she'll be like, all right, what are we doing? Like, what do you want? And I'll be like, this take, and I'll tell her why. It's not just like, it got some bullshit reason. It's like, well, I like it when like certain words, they kind of sound like the word you're saying, if you understand what I mean. Where it's like, if you're like saying something aggressive, like you're saying like, well, I'm mad at you or whatever. Like, well, be more aggressive. Like, don't be like, well, I'm mad at you. Like, don't choose that vocal take. Choose like one that like
And a little
emotes
more.
that.
Yeah. So we are well, in the past, like now we have been working with our producer that mixed Cross Me Twice, Joey Doherty. It's a co-relationship, but like up until that point, we were just doing everything on our own. And Cross Me Twice was fully recorded at home, aside from the drums. We did rent a drum studio for that. But guitars, bass, vocals at home, sound design and all that, did that at home. So it's very fulfilling, but it drives you crazy at the same time when you do everything on your own. So yeah. Like the thing that you just mentioned, that like Andy Sneap was just comping and choosing, like making the perfect vocal take on the spot. I could never do that, because I'm the vocalist, so I'm recording myself, and I just make a mental note. Do I feel like I have everything that I want? And then I step away and I, go for a walk or make dinner or whatever, and then come back and listen and then try and choose the perfect vocal take. I can't just do it in the spot because just my head is, I guess, so clouded in that moment. But I do love that control, because in the past when I would go to rent a studio and someone else would record me, I haven't been happy with the results, I haven't
Oh, yeah.
It's usually like, yeah, we're good. And I'm like, I don't think we're good. I want to do more takes. You know what I mean? And then it's like, it's happened where they just like slap auto-tune on there. And I'm like, I hate this. Just let me do more takes,
Yeah, Then you got to play shows with it, and then you're not proud of it. It's like, it's like a snowball. Just pissed.
It's the teach a man to fish, philosophy with vocal production or recording in general, where it's like, when I first started out, I was financially not too well. I was working like day jobs, and I just quit all that because I wanted to make music my full-time thing. But because of that, I was quite poor, and I would just stay at home, and all my other friends that I knew that were doing music, they would rent out a studio. It'd be like, yeah, it's only $10 a day, or I'm sorry, an hour just to record. So it's like, it's not that expensive, but I'm like, well, I have a computer. I could just buy this cheap Focusrite, it's $150, and the cheapest like microphone I could get, and download a DAW, which happened to be Cubase, and just learn how to do it. And then I'd never have to pay for a studio again. So it's teach a man to fish. So I just think it's very freeing. And I think it helps you become the best vocalist and musician you can be, because you're there alone with your thoughts and your time for hours, and you're not like, oh shit, I booked the studio only for 4 hours, I gotta get it done. And then especially as an introvert, you freeze up, and
and you start overthinking everything.
Yes
Yeah,
so
that sucks.
yeah.
I heard you guys need to hear music and then you write lyrics after. Do you guys not write lyrics at all, like prior, or do you jot stuff down and kind of store it?
Yes.
What's the
that
For
ideas.
Our next record, we're doing it in reverse. We're doing the lyrics first for
Not
like
the
at least like the
lyrics, though, but
concepts of
concepts,
things.
yeah.
We're coming up with concepts, and
Yeah.
we're like, this song's gonna be about this. So
Yeah, and then when we have like a riff or an idea starting to develop musically, we're like, oh, it could fit with this concept that we wrote down. Sometimes the concept is like a song title or just the idea in general, but yeah.
yeah, I felt like I don't know why I always had this knack with like, if you gave me like an instrumental I can just like, it kind of like the music speaks to me and I'm able to be like, okay, the theme should be like about this. And like, I'll build vocal patterns and lyrics based off of that. So it's like,
Yeah.
I really feel like, yeah, if you gave me a song today, I could write you a song today. I could like probably do an album a week if I had the time for it. But
Yeah.
life's in the way and things get busy. So
That's part of being, I think, a professional musician too, is being able to do it. Like, it's better to be, what's that saying? It's better to be prepared and not called to do something than to
yeah.
be called and not be prepared. So I think it's important, like what Robby just said, like, yeah, I could give me a song, I'll write a song today, you know. I think a lot of professional musicians can do that, but then when you're talking about your band and your own art and your heart and your soul, you don't have to. You know, you could take your time, you can... I like to say that I want to experience more things in life between albums, because a lot of the stuff we write about is our life, our experiences, and it's like I need to go through some stuff to be able to write another album. Yeah.
Yeah, touring the world and get more experiences.
Yeah.
Have more fights. Yeah. You know, Rob writes a song, "I Hate You." You're like, what's it about?
I don't know. Is this a metaphor for something?
yeah, she felt that way with this one song that we wrote on our second EP, Fools Tomorrow, and I was like, it's not even about you. Don't worry about it.
It's
It was about a
true.
past relationship I had.
Wow.
And I was
Yeah.
telling her about it. It was just like, I was just like,
because the timing, because we had some stupid argument. I don't even remember what it was. And then he shows me the lyrics, like pull apart the pieces, put them back together, throw it all away. I'm like, are you trying to tell me something?
why are
Oh,
you being so
man.
emo about this? And I was just like,
Oh,
no.
moly.
It was just, honestly, it was just like a reflecting thing where it was like, I was a dumbass. I was a piece of shit. And I wrote it as like, you know what? Sometimes it's like, hey, own up to when you're the problem. And that's what that
Totally.
song's
A lot of people don't do
about.
that. Sometimes you are the problem.
Yeah. And some people are like, you know, like, oh no, it's never me. It's always like somebody else. And I'm just like,
Dude.
no, I was not in a good place at that point in my life. I was a bad
Interesting.
person, and now I'm fixing that, and like I've moved on from who I was then.
Dude, that's awesome, man. Sometimes, yeah. Dude, I had my first ever girlfriend, like, 12, and we were dating for a year, and probably I thought about her like a year ago, 2 years, around that kind of time frame. I was like, I don't know, memories started coming back of bad things I did.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, because she dumped me for like some senior. Cause we got it freshmen, and a lot of girlfriends did that when everybody in high school. In my
Yes.
you dump the freshman and you go to the senior. But then I was like, wait a minute, like I just started evaluating what I did. I was like, damn, I was kind of a shitty boyfriend. I sucked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, so then I kind of it's funny. I mean, this is like years ago, over 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And I reevaluated. I'm like, oh wait, that was my fault.
Yeah.
Yep.
That relationship is my fault. And
Yeah.
I remember like back then I was like, you break up and I haven't thought about her years.
Yeah.
And then it popped up.
Yeah.
I was like, wow.
Yeah.
That was my fault. Crazy.
It's important to do that, I think. No, but don't live in the past.
No,
some people get
always,
caught up.
Always
and,
learning.
Yeah, I think it's important, and I think another thing that's important is to realize is that I don't like to think of like people as good people and bad people necessarily. Like sometimes there are exceptions, of course.
Sure.
But I think sometimes I think like, hey, maybe I met someone at some point in life and I was having a bad day and I was a total dick to them.
Sure.
And they think I'm like the worst person on the planet.
Yeah.
Maybe it's happened. But I like to think about that when I meet other people too. It's just like benefit of the doubt. Maybe they're not having a good day or whatever.
Never know.
Or maybe they did like what you're talking about now. It's just like they were at a point in their lives and they were just acting terribly towards people around them, and they got out of that. So things aren't black and white, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Well, it's great that that song was not about you.
No, I was just like, hey, wait a second.
Yeah, because I'm always meeting new bands and a new conversation, new something. Then they'll sometimes someone tells you a story and it starts sparking stuff. So
Yeah.
this has helped me like just kind of reevaluate my life. Someone will say something or listen to a song, and this memory will just.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, I haven't thought about that person or that thing my whole life, and it pops in there. So I'm kind of forced to So I guess I'll put it out there. It was I'm 12. I'm 12. Remember there's a school dance, and she played the flute in a band. She was a very attractive blonde chick. She was fucking sick. And I remember she was dancing at the school dance, and I got really jealous because you're 12. And then I remember I grabbed her by the shoulder, kind of put like enough to like. You should never do that to a woman.
Yeah.
Grab her, like kind of I pulled her. I remember like I haven't thought about her face, the way she reacted until like
Recently.
recently. I was like, wow, that moment happened, and I just blocked it out of my mind to where it. And now I reevaluate. Wow, she should have dumped me.
Yeah.
She should have. That's it.
Yeah. And that was you realizing that what you did in that moment, like, that's not who I am.
No.
It was just a
it's
feeling, an impulse. It was just like overpowering, and it
Yeah.
led you to do that. And that's why I think it's important to think about these things too.
It is. It sucks, but yeah, you gotta just.
Yeah.
Anything pops up, especially when you're an introvert, you have a lot of time to think.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, here comes some thought. I gotta process it.
Yeah.
You don't want to take out your fucking childhood trauma on somebody else.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You guys are, more so you're married, so. I've dated my chick for 5 years, so just always try not to put, band trauma or past trauma on that person.
Yeah.
Like, what am I feeling? Okay, just try to process it and channel it in a adult way.
Yeah.
And that's what we do, and I think that's what growing up is. That's what growing up is.
Yeah, and that's why it doesn't really have an age, Like when we were young, we would look at our parents and think like, yeah, they're grown-ups. They got their shit together.
Oh no, they're humans.
Yes.
They are humans.
Grown-ups don't know what they're doing in life.
No, but they figure it out. But my point is like there's no exact age for maturity, right? Like you'll meet someone that's 25 and maybe they own their own house and they have their shit together and they, figuring out. And then you meet someone's in their 50s and they don't know what they're doing in life. So that feeling of growing up and maturity and responsibility and all that doesn't really have a number.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of responsibilities, have you guys thought about family or what's
We have.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Cool.
It's been an ongoing conversation. Obviously, it's tough to balance with both of us being in a band,
In the same band.
in the same band especially, but we do have family and all that and a support system. So if we decided to do that, we wouldn't be like entirely on our own, because the last thing you want to do is have a child and then have strangers raise your child.
Suck.
Yeah. So
Cool. Yeah. How close are these conversations?
I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll
I
see.
don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see.
It's always like there's always been something with music all the time that's like, well, we got this coming up, or that's coming up. So.
Dude, that is the hardest part about doing what you want to do with your life, because then you have like the music part and you're trying to like, how am I gonna integrate these things and make it work? It freaks me out all the time.
Yeah, because it's like there's other people involved. There's like your bandmates. There's like a team behind it. There's the label. There's your
people involved.
Touring crew. So it's like you can't. It's like you want to have everything in life, but sometimes you can't. Or then like when it's like, oh, now you think you're ready, it might be too late, unfortunately.
That's the thing. I have like this internal clock going off. I'm like, you have time, but you don't have time at the same time.
Yeah.
It's like fuck. There is this clock going.
Absolutely.
39. And then, but you have your other band members.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And their own lives. You want to make sure you have the responsibility of making decisions that affect them.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's.
I think it's important when you are in a band to have, I guess, stability and security outside of the band as well. Because, like we see, especially, I mean, it happened with me, but a lot of bands during or after the pandemic, they're just like, we're done,
Oh, my
and
goodness.
imagine any individual that maybe was a part of these bands and had nothing else outside of the band.
Yeah.
That must be a crushing feeling, Yeah. And another thing I have seen as a negative, I guess, feeling being within a band is blaming your own band and its trajectory for your own personal life.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So like I've seen people say like, hey, the reason I'm not getting a raise or a higher position in my day job is because I have the band, you know. So like, for example,
Oh,
people
shit.
that have worked, let's say, at a company for X amount of years, that company would let them leave for a month and then you can come back and you have your job.
Yeah, yeah.
But you're not going to get a promotion. I'm not going to give you more responsibility
Yeah.
because you're leaving for a month. So then you start blaming the band where it's like, well, I'm not making more money every year because I sacrificed the band or whatever. And I get it, but it's a selfish thing and it brings down your band members and the whole vibe in general. So I think,
Yeah, it's tough.
yeah, I think, that's why for me, I was like, I just want to do this full time. If my one band isn't touring and making me my full salary from that one band, then I need to figure out other ways, you know, to monetize.
Fuck it, let's just make merch.
That's
That's
what we
it.
started doing.
That's what we
I
started
literally
doing.
started screen printing because of that. I'm like, how do we save money? I'm always like looking of ways like how do we save money? How do we make more money? We were always running our own merch online store. So that was something we set up. We made the website, my brother and I.
That's cool.
And and then I was just like, you know what? For this album cycle, let me print out the merch because I had a bunch of ideas that I wanted to do. I'm like, let's bring this to life. And like we got Phil in the band, our guitarist, who's does our videos and he's doing the graphic design stuff. So it's like I'm able to collaborate with him. We made our designs and everything. A lot of the stuff that's going to be at the shows today and tomorrow. It's like I printed them. I just started screen printing and it's like it's a great fun endeavor. So. New hobby. I'm always like learning new things and trying to get better.
It's awesome because you know what that shit costs, and
Yeah.
you're gonna apply that in the future.
Yeah.
Yes.
Everything that you're doing hands on, you know, like costs, and I think that's pretty important.
And then it's also the quality control of things. Like it's like I'm happy with it. Like this is how I want it. I could like feel it. Like is the ink deposit going good here or it's
the
not?
colors
Are the colors
accurate?
working? Like is this the color it's supposed to be? I'm able to do that because sometimes you might go with the very talented screen printer and it's like the colors were off, but it's really tough. As I found out, I'm like, oh, this is tough.
Yeah.
Let's try to simplify things. Like the more simple a design is, the easier it is to print.
And it's also great as a young band that like you're gonna put out a new t-shirt design. It's not gonna like sell like crazy because you're a small band, you're growing, right? It's great when you do it yourself because you're like, I can literally just print 30 shirts at a time if I choose to, whereas like when you have someone else, you're ordering merch to get like lower prices, they have like, I don't know, 100 minimum or whatever. So you're like, okay, I want to get a good price per shirt, but I gotta order in bulk. And then you're just stuck with this leftover merch that won't sell when you are a smaller band. So we started doing that for ourselves. And, like, it's, he does the actual screen printing, but it's a team effort. And, like,
Vicky actually mixes the colors for me, like the
dope.
inks. Yeah.
Yeah,
She's
to
like,
try
I
and
got a
get-
good eye with that. So she
to get
mixed
the
the inks
most
on that
accurate.
hoodie design.
Yeah. And
Man, you're both so in it. It's crazy. How do you,
I feel like bands have to be now today because it's like there's so much you need to do on your own and it's just so costly to get started. And we're fortunate that we worked in other areas and saved up money to like reinvest and be able to do this.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Because it's like we're really in control of a lot. There's some things in the industry you're not in control of, like perception and like how people find out about you or hear about you. But it's like, hey, like what am I in control of? It's like our music, our art. And it's like, okay, now we can do the videos ourselves too. Having Phil in the band, he's like, we come up with the storyline concepts too. We sit down together. And it's just we're really hands-on about it. But like I'm passionate about it. I love the business stuff. And it's like, to me, it's like punk rock. I think a lot of people don't think about it like that. But like being like punk is like, to me, having your own community, your own people. So it's like, okay, like for me, it's like it's Sicksense and like my people. If like I can't do it, I need somebody else in the band to do it. And if we have to outsource somebody, let's work with them. Like Alex, our booking agent is amazing. Just like have somebody who can do what you can't do and just work together and make money, like have your own community and like whatever the rules are and the laws are. Like to me, it's like okay, yeah, I'm not saying don't follow the laws or anything. Be a good citizen and whatnot, and do that. But it's like
let's fuck shit up. Come on.
exactly like there's no limits. There's like no rules. Like as long as you're not
Yeah.
hurting anybody or like infringing on somebody else's life, like do your thing. You know, I'll apply like what my beliefs are to myself, and that's how I view things. And it's like, yeah, you know, just work it.
Yeah, it sounds like you guys really just want to make the band work.
Yeah,
cool.
I mean, yeah. Who doesn't, right? I
Yeah.
mean, yeah. I just obviously everyone that is in a band and is doing this like a little more seriously, you know, not just jamming, like playing shows and all that. They want the band to work. But I think it goes back to the why that we spoke about in the beginning. And I think that's where we're a little different. Not to say that there are other bands out there like this, absolutely. But why are you doing this? And again, it goes back to the songwriting and being able to connect. And I think of like when I discovered music and it saved me from my own thoughts and the stuff I was going through. That power, like, hey, I can write a song and it can save someone else from the other side of the world, you know. And I think that's the one thing that I hold on to, where it's like, okay, maybe we're never going to be like an arena band or whatever, because you can't control that. You don't know how big the band's going to get. But just the fact that you're making a difference in X amount of people's lives is important, I think. And it keeps you going. Whereas I'm sure we all know this, that there's a lot of bands that maybe they're not in it for that many reasons. Like maybe it's just about, yeah, man, I just want to rock my guitar, go on stage and like have fun, you know, and that's cool too. But I think if it's just that, the fire dies sooner, you know, because then you hit 40 or whatever and you're like, I don't feel like a rock star anymore. I'm just dad, you know, and you just rather stay at home. But I think the fire of writing music and making a change in people's lives, I think that is harder to put out. I don't know.
I think the change thing too is cool because it's like there could be a ripple effect with it. Like, you know,
Absolutely.
like I was influenced by you guys, and it's like, okay, now you like inspired a younger band to do their own thing that's different. You know, it's like full circle where you guys are always talking about like you were inspired by new metal, and it's like, well, look, here I am. I was inspired by you guys, deathcore, and now it's like, oh, now I'm doing like this new metal hybrid thing. And then I also think about like life's crazy. It's like maybe there's somebody who's a kid right now that might get into Sicksense one day and be like, yo, that was my inspiration. And then they do something that's even better than us. And like I'd hope for that, because it's like with any culture, like the metal culture, you want it to grow and get better and like improve. So that's what it's all about for me. It's like I want to put my money where my mouth is, and like and like not just talk it, like let me walk it. Like, okay, this is how you do things, and like hopefully it inspires somebody else. Like this is the way to do things properly, and this is the etiquette, and just like improve and get better. And like, yeah, to add to that, it's like, yeah, everyone's always talking about, what's the greatest band of all time? And I always like to say, like, who's to say the greatest band even exists now? They're probably not even born right now. There's probably a bunch of kids like in 30, 50 years from now that are going to be the greatest band of all time.
Yeah,
you don't even know it.
Yeah, music is still evolving now. We just don't know.
Yeah.
Now, watching in like 10 years from now, or like, or even sooner, or maybe longer, there's gonna be all these like these married couple bands. You know, you guys, you know, who knows? You know, that'd be sick.
That would be wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All these babies on tour, and now they're the drummer.
Yeah. As
that'd
long
be
as they
sick.
have ear protection headphones, then it's all fine.
Have you seen those headphones that they make for dogs?
I have.
I just saw those
So
like a
cute.
couple days ago. I
Yeah.
think Jay probably showed me. Oh no, I saw like these little dog headphones.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, it's cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, it's cool.
Well, because dogs have crazy hearing, right? So I can
Yeah.
imagine you bring them into a venue. That's not going to be pleasant, you know?
Hey, Jay Clay. Yeah, there you go.
Whoa.
Oh my goodness. So cute.
That dog. Hey Jay, pull the one with the glasses. Oh, the bottom. Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice.
That they're listening to a Sicksense.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wonder if they make headphones for cats.
I don't think a cat would like it.
No,
They'd probably
cats.
just
Yeah, cats
say it
are.
Scratch
off.
everything
Yeah.
there in the venue.
Yeah, cats are. Oh, wait, they make human cat. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Of course they do.
Everyone thinks they're a fucking cat. That's cool. Or a cat wearing headphones. I don't know. How would you word that? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Is that real? Oh.
Is it? I don't.
It's on the side. It's not doing its job. That
Oh,
one.
it's not doing a show. they're all like not on the
It's just a prop.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it could be a invention that I saw a cat video of it was walking on the snow and its owner put him like as like a jacket, a hood, and little snow boots. That's awesome. Do you guys have any pets? A dog or
We
a
do.
cat?
Yeah, we have
We
two
have
dogs.
two dogs.
Two dogs.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
2 dogs. We got our first one, Oreo. He's a Pomeranian. I got him from Georgia from our buddies Rick and Lisa.
Nice.
They breed Pomeranians and
Okay.
Pomskis, and yeah, they were like, yeah, you want one? And it was Vicky fell in love, and I was like, all right. So it was actually when I did the festival. We did 2 festival dates with Stuck Mojo. I played Bloodstock and Brutal Assault, and then came back home from Europe, and yeah. That was when we were moving. I was moving to Chicago, so I was still living in Montreal at that time. But I finished these shows, went from Georgia to Chicago. We stayed there a month. Then I went back to wrap things up in Montreal, and then we ended up moving to Chicago. And I went through the immigration process, after we got
I
married.
didn't think about that.
Yeah, I
moved to a
just
different
became American last year, actually.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
I didn't put two together. Oh
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
How's that process? It sucked.
It's tedious.
It was tedious. I didn't do it. I did it without a lawyer. I did it myself. So I did
shit,
all
how
the
was that?
paperwork. Yeah. Well,
Just time consuming.
I like to think I went to college. I got I guess it's the equivalent to an associate's degree here in the States in social sciences. So I think just the tedious process of going through college and this workload of doing papers and stuff you don't want to do.
Yeah.
Made me this office worker robot, and I'm kind of very analytical with stuff like that anyway. So it just made me okay, it's just another whatever. It's another college project. So let me just get through this essay and I'm really good with that stuff now because of that. So I like to knock college a lot, but really it was I guess the work ethic behind accomplishing stuff I had to do in school
Yeah.
got instilled in my work mentality, and so I did it. It was tedious, but it's kind of nothing either. I don't want it to sound like it was easy because it's not. But for me, it was
just getting through the lingo, of
yeah, you have to understand the legal jargon and just doing it. And I think you know what was the craziest thing for me? It was actually on this last run because there's steps to the immigration process, and on the very last thing, as I was applying to do my civics test to become American, I had to note down every single country I went to.
And you had done 2 tours.
And I did 2 tours, and we went to every country in Europe, and I had to note it down. But thankfully, Google exists, and it noted down. Google Maps noted down every single place I was at. And I had to note every time I went back up to Canada, because my family's there, I visit frequently, and all the tours and every place we went to, every country, and that last European run we did with the Agonist, I was doing merch for them too, and I had to put that in my application. That was tedious. That was oh. No, but I did it, so all good.
Yeah.
I think that's what love is. It's wait, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Right on. Anything that we talked about the EPs, the record, anything that I might have missed that you want people to know that are fans of the podcast or fans of your band?
Oh, yeah. I really want to share this story with you. I actually met you and the rest of your band at Warped Tour when I was a kid back in 2010. Warped Tour.
Wow,
So
really?
I met you guys, with Mitch, Mark, and you, Chris, and you guys, honestly, you made my day. You guys were the coolest people I ever met. And that
Really appreciate that,
That imprinted on me. I'm I want to be that cool too. So I'm super nice to everyone who comes up to me too. I'm that made my day.
Yeah,
And
you did the meet and greet thing.
I did the
right?
meet and greet thing. Yeah, I got you guys signed my poster and everything.
crap.
Yeah. Back in 2010, and you guys were awesome. And you were actually Suicide Silence was my first mosh pit.
Wow.
I went into the wall of death that day, and you guys
crap.
blew me away. I was dude, this is the greatest band on the planet. I love you.
Man, that's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
So it's all full circle, and it's just you never know, man. It's
never know.
here we are today, talking.
You never know.
Yeah.
It's funny. I'm always if I hear a story, they're gonna say. So I met you back then. I'm always waiting for something. This is a perfect example. At Warped Tour, we were drinking Four Loko and putting vodka in the Four Loko cans. God, we're fucking maniacs, dude. But it's cool, man.
I
That's
think
awesome.
it's.
Yeah,
That's
really
crazy.
fun.
I think it's
Thank
cool.
God.
Thank God it was a good experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think it's cool too. Like as an artist, when you meet younger kids, you know, I feel like I don't know for you, but I feel like I talk to younger kids differently than say someone that's my age or older.
Yeah.
Like, because you said you were young. Like, how old were you?
I must have been like 16 or 17.
Yeah, I mean, you weren't like
Holy
a
crap.
child, but
Yeah.
you looked a lot more youthful than you look
Yeah,
now.
it was
obviously.
a lot different looking back
Yeah.
then. That's for sure.
I don't know. I feel like
Still
when
handsome.
Thank you, Kristen.
when I meet someone at a show that's like still in school, I don't know. I get like a little, oh, you came here tonight, you know, like because maybe because
Yeah.
I was a teenager and I just feel like there's so many things you can do as a teenager, like to have fun.
Yeah.
And it's like you chose to come to my show and
That's dope.
now you're like inspired and you want to be a musician too. No, I just feel like, I don't know, proud in a way. So I have like the interactions that I've had with fans. I probably remember all the ones where it was like a younger kid or something. Like it's
Yeah.
hard to forget, you know. I don't know.
Boy,
No.
we're gonna meet a lot more people today.
Yes,
That's cool.
hopefully it'll be fun. I don't know. It's wild. It's wild that we're doing this. Sold out
Yeah.
today. Sold out tomorrow. Yeah.
Playing Anaheim today. Yeah, sold out. Sold out tomorrow. San Diego officially sold
Yeah.
out. Nice.
Yeah.
That's fucking cool.
Yeah.
Santa Barbara as well.
We're not doing
no,
that show.
we're not
Okay.
on that one. No.
Oh yeah, it's
It's in a
separate.
bit. Yeah,
Okay.
it's like
Yeah.
in February, that one.
The fuck, Alex? Come on. I'm kidding.
But we do
Sick.
have our own headline show on February 14th as well.
Yep.
So the day the album's coming out, we're
Nice.
in Phoenix, Glendale, right next to it. We're doing our own show, playing the whole album plus some old songs, and yeah, it'll be a fun time.
Cool. And if you're listening and watching, we'll
Yeah.
put the link in the description. And if you're in a Phoenix area around there, February 14th,
Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow. That day for me is so scarred because we put out a record on Valentine's Day,
Oh.
and then that's when the panty hit.
Oh,
Yeah, it was like such a. But you're gonna make this day better.
Okay.
You're-
Yes.
Sicksense is gonna bring Valentine's Day back.
Yes.
Because Suicide Sounds almost ruined it. So you're the band to do it.
Let's go.
Sicksense is the band to do it.
Hopefully.
Right.
Hopefully.
Got to be responsible. Sicksense. Cross Me Twice. Artwork by Rob
And Phil,
and Phil.
collaboration.
Collab
Yeah.
and me.
Yeah, take credit, Chris.
Inspired the
I
purple.
couldn't help it,
Let's do
Rob. I couldn't help it. Cool. Anything else that where can people find you guys?
Find us all socials. We're everywhere. You know, Sicksense, one word. What else? What else? I feel like we
You got
talked about
Twitch,
a lot.
but you haven't been streaming
I haven't
lately.
been streaming it. Well, I got really sick during the holidays, but
Oh, no.
I'll probably get back to it on Monday.
Okay.
Yeah. I stream on Twitch, but it goes back to that introvert thing. You know, if I'm not feeling good, I just don't do it. But yeah.
Yeah.
But I was really sick during the holidays, and I guess it's good that I have experience in playing shows because up until like the start of this week, I just hadn't sung. I hadn't done anything, and I was like, I don't know, I'm gonna do these 2 shows, but it's been sounding good the last few days, so I'm excited.
Great.
But yeah, getting sick sucks.
That sucks.
Yeah,
Getting sick of Rob.
he got sick too, but he didn't get as sick.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I think you guys as a married couple are setting a great example that it is possible because you're such an enclosed space and you're married and you're writing lyrics
Yeah.
together. I can't wrap my head around it. So it's cool that someone's out there doing it, setting a example. It's dope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. I
Cool.
appreciate that. Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah. Doing our best.
Did I miss anything?
I
That's
don't
it,
think
yeah.
so. I
We got
think we got it
Yeah,
all.
we got everything.
Just thank you for having us.
Yeah,
This
we
is-
Anytime. I'm
appreciate
honored.
you.
Thank you.
It was so fun. Yeah.
It was fun. I know kind of crazy with the timing and stuff and the drive, but I'm honored.
We made it work.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Chris.
Sicksense.
Appreciate you.
Thank you. Honored.
Thank
All right,
you so
everyone.
much.
That's it. Later.